Bunnies, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about my seasonal depression and how I feel it affects me in my life and especially around the holidays. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So as I said, today's video, I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about my seasonal depression and how it affects me around the holiday times especially. I don't really have anything necessarily prepared to talk about today, but I made a video a little while ago just talking about what it's like living with generalized anxiety disorder, and a lot of people really felt like they took something from it. And I was just so happy to know that I was reaching people when it comes to mental health and mental illness. I just think that it is so important that we break the stigma on mental illness, and I just think it's really important to be open and honest about it and just talk about it because it's something that a lot of people go through, and I feel like it's such a taboo topic and a lot of people try to avoid bringing it up, but I really don't want to be one of those people, and I want to make sure that everyone knows and is reminded that if you're going through a mental illness, you're not alone. There is always someone else out there that understands where you're coming from, that is going through maybe the same thing, maybe something different, but still just understands what it's like living with a mental illness. And I was just so happy to be able to be that person for someone. And so now today I wanted to come back on here as today is New Year's Eve, and as we're finishing out the kind of excitement of the holiday season, I just wanted to talk about what it's like living with seasonal depression around the holidays and how I am affected by that. So like I said, I don't really have anything necessarily prepared for today, but I guess to give you a little bit of background, my dad passed away when I was 13 years old the day after Christmas. So this year has been 10 years since my dad passed away, and about 2 years before that, my parents did separate. So they, were not together anymore, and as an 11-year-old kid, that was really hard. I always tried to put on a brave face, but a lot of times I was usually just really broken on the inside. And people always said how strong I was and how I was so inspiring and all of that, and I appreciated that and it was encouraging. But because so many people thought I was so brave and strong, I felt like I was never really allowed to show how I was actually feeling, because there were days where I felt completely broken, and I thought that I wasn't able to show that because I had to always be so strong and brave. So when my parents did separate, I did go through depression, and I remember going through these depressive episodes. It was really hard to deal with. I started going to a therapist at my school. It did help at the time, but I just, even as a young kid, didn't love the idea of feeling like I had to rely on someone else for my own happiness. And so I stopped going to the therapist, and then when I was 13, my dad passed away. And so that just brought on this whole other set of emotions. I was already going through this hard time with my parents not being together anymore. And then my dad passed away, and it was just even harder. And it was just even more emotions that I didn't know how to deal with. So fast forward all throughout high school. When I was a junior in high school, I started suffering from panic disorder, where I got panic attacks. And so now I was dealing with anxiety, depression, and panic disorder. And I didn't know at the time that my depression was seasonal depression, even though I would go through different depressive episodes throughout the rest of the year. My main source of depression was around the winter months. And I really didn't understand that until I graduated high school and began college. So when I started college, I really did not love the school, and I was living there. So I ended up moving out because I was dealing with some of the worst anxiety and depression of my entire life. It was absolutely terrible, and I was just not willing to put myself through that for anything. So I moved out, and I was close enough living to commute. So I ended up continuing to commute there, and I still just wasn't happy. I didn't know if it was the school. I didn't know what it was, but I was just so unhappy. And so I reached out to a therapist that was on campus at my school and started talking to her, and it was really, really great. The only problem with the school therapists was that they were so overbooked that they weren't able to continue to see me. They were only able to see me for that initial kind of like evaluation or consultation, and then they weren't able to see me anymore, and they had to just kind of recommend me to go elsewhere, which was really unfortunate because there are so many college students who are going through these different mental illnesses who need someone to be there for them. And especially if you're living on campus, I mean, you may not have the ability to go out somewhere else and drive somewhere and go see these other people. And as a college student, you may not necessarily have the funds to go see a therapist. So having a therapist on campus is such a great opportunity. But if they don't have the time or availability to see the students that really need them, it's really not doing anyone any good. So I talked to her that first time and it was going amazing. I really felt like a connection to her because I didn't mention this, but in high school I did also start seeing a therapist and I just did not like her. She was not friendly. She was not listening to me. It was just not good. So I stopped going to her pretty quickly. But when I was in college, I really felt like I found someone. And like I said, I didn't love the idea of relying on someone. But as I got older, I understood the importance of talking about your feelings. And since I always felt like I couldn't really express how I was feeling in different ways when I was younger, I really felt so connected to this person, and I was so happy that I found someone that I could be completely open and vulnerable with. And then we get to the end of the meeting and she tells me that I can't continue to see her, and it was just devastating, honestly, as an 18-year-old who's navigating through these different things. So during the meeting, she told me that what I was suffering from was seasonal depression. So as I mentioned, my dad did pass away the day after Christmas 10 years ago, and it was seasonal depression that I had been dealing with. And you know, it was nice to finally have a term for why I was feeling that way around the holidays, especially because I am someone who absolutely loves the fall and winter months. I love Thanksgiving, I love Christmas, I love being with my family and celebrating the holidays. But then I'm dealing with these depression symptoms and I feel these conflicting emotions because I feel so much joy and excitement, but then I also feel very sad and lonely, and it was just very hard. So having that term around it was nice, but like I said, I wasn't able to continue seeing her. So that was the end of that. But I ended up not returning to that school and just kind of going through these different things. I ended up getting into a very serious relationship who I'm now engaged to, and my life seemed like things were getting better. But every time around the holidays, I ended up still getting these depressive symptoms. And as I mentioned before in my other video, and as I briefly mentioned here, I do also suffer from generalized anxiety disorder, which has continued to just be something that I go through all throughout the year, no matter when. So that never stopped, and that's never just only during a certain month or a certain season. So that was definitely something that I continue to go through. But my seasonal depression, you know, of course, is something that I still suffer with, but it's really hard. And like I said, I wanted this video to kind of just be me talking about how I feel it affects me during the holidays. Because if you're anything like me, you may love the holiday season and you may love everything that it comes with. But if you suffer from seasonal depression, it can be very conflicting and very confusing, and it's hard and it's exhausting. And I think that's something that people don't realize. It's very, very exhausting going through these different emotions because you want to be so excited and you want to be happy and joyful, and if you love the holidays, you may be those things. But then when that seasonal depression kicks in, you may not even want to leave your house. You may not want to leave your bedroom or your bed. You may just want to be completely alone, and it's hard. It's really, really hard. And like I said, I didn't really have anything prepared, so I just wanted to make this video just to remind you as we come to the close of the holiday season of 2020, and I feel that this will be relevant in any year. I just want you to know that you're not alone. It's completely normal if you are suffering from seasonal depression to have those conflicting emotions, and especially when you pair it with other mental illnesses like panic disorder, like generalized anxiety disorder, like any other personal mental illness that you may be going through. I think it is so important to remember that you're not alone, and I encourage you to go out and get the help that is needed, or to talk to someone that you trust in your own personal life that you feel close enough to talk to. Because at the end of the day, you're worth it, and it's important for you to take care of yourself and to feel worthy and to feel like you are enough, because you truly are, even when you don't feel like you are. And I just want to make that known because I feel like that is just such an important thing. And like I said, I love just having people understand that you're not alone. People are out there. People do understand what you're going through. And if I can be that person for you, I'm happy to do so. So I just wanted to make this quick video to remind you that you are not alone. I completely understand where you are coming from, and it can be very confusing and exhausting and tiresome, especially around the holidays when you're going through seasonal depression. Like I said, for me personally, it just affects me in so many ways because I want to be joyful and happy, but then I have these symptoms where I don't even want to be around the house, and then I end up taking it out on the wrong people, which is never healthy, and I end up just kind of taking these moods out on my loved ones. So that's why I think it's so important to just remember that you're not alone, talk to someone, and, you know, open up, be vulnerable. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to talk about this, because I think that it's so important that we break the stigma on mental illness, because if we don't, people are going to continue to live in fear, and people are going to continue to feel like they're not normal, and that's not okay. You're going to be okay. Just reach out to someone, get the help you need, and just always remember that you're not alone and you're going to be all right. Someone out there understands. You're never alone in this fight. I can clearly vouch for that, and there are so many other people who can say the same. So if you ever need someone, I'm always here. I like making these videos because I like shedding light on mental illness, because it is something that so many people go through, and so many people go through it quietly because they're afraid of what other people may think. So by breaking the stigma and by talking about it, we can shed light on mental illness, and we can start to get people the help they need so that they can continue to feel worthy, because you truly are worthy. And I hope that you believe that, because it is the truth. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see any other mental illness related videos, please be sure to let me know, because I'd be happy to talk more about my own experience and to continue to shed light on mental illness so that we can break the stigma. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday season, no matter what holidays you may celebrate, and I hope that we can all have a happy, healthy, and safe 2021. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye!